I don't know what's been happening with me lately, but recently I've just man. Recently I've been crying to media. Now if you were to ask me if I'd ever cried to media 2 years ago, I probably would have laughed in your face. Me, cry. Am I a dickhead, blood? Alpha males don't cry. Crying is for pansies. Of course I'm joking, but I never really found myself ever needing to cry to a piece of entertainment. Nothing's ever made me feel that way or emotional enough to even get me there. But as of recent, I've just been crying. I've turned soft, man. I was crying in the cinemas to Guardians 3, and I don't want to admit it, but I did cry to I Am Legend. Yeah, I'm talking about the Will Smith movie, like that one. And this was on a rewatch too. For some reason, his daughter died and just really got to me. I have no idea why. And the UK's energy bills, bro, they've definitely been making me emotional. But we don't cry. Now I'm watching an anime called Made in Abyss. Now what's funny about Made in Abyss making me cry is that I didn't actually like the show's characters all that much. And to be honest, just for season 1, I can't say I exactly loved this anime. I just thought it was alright. It was cool, I guess. I had no plans of making a video at all, but even though I didn't really care for it all that much, I just think the anime does a lot of things really well. And it also made me realize one of my main issues with anime, or not just with anime actually, probably just media in general. And that's children. I hate children. If you're here, then you're probably already familiar with anime, but in case you're not, a lot of popular anime like to use children and young people for their main characters. Now, it's not a bad thing, but there are animes out there where I feel like there are kids where they just shouldn't be. And even that could be a whole video in itself, but I'm definitely looking at examples like Tokyo Revengers. They should not be kids in that show. Now, why do they do it? I'm not exactly sure, but you can make your assumptions. It's probably bad for marketing since they're already aiming for young people anyway. You can argue that it's a lot more easy to write for children because they themselves are blank canvas, just like the mangakas when they're first starting up. It's something that you can just add layers onto later, and maybe even add some time skips. We all love a time skips. Either way, most of the time, it's absolutely fine. I usually have no issue with it. But this time round, I kind of really would have preferred our main characters to be a bit more mature, because the tone of everything just feels very serious. The tone for the other adult characters, the world, the music, it all gives off a vibe of just beautiful intenseness. There's an episode where all the kids are just talking, and I was dying during this scene because I really just did not care. They felt really cliche when everything felt so unique. They just felt so unserious when everything felt serious. It was almost like a tonal clash for me at the time. But Made in Abyss does a good job of explaining its rules to this world, levels, classes, all that stuff I enjoy seeing in a story. I'm currently reading Black Clover, and that's one of the things in Black Clover that really shined out to me. Also, Black Clover video coming soon. Even though the main characters weren't really doing much for me, the design of the creature in the first episode was enough for me to make me feel super immersed and wanted to know more. Our main character is a robot kid who we don't really know much about. He's not really natural in this world. So he should be the thing that should make us curious and want to know more and keep following the story. But for me, it's not really like that. I kind of don't care for him. Because there is one main character in Made in Abyss that really shines out to me and just makes me care and wants to know more, and that's the world itself. The way Made in Abyss writes his world is damn near perfection. Listen, I'm not a professional writer or anything, but I imagine it takes a lot of skill to create a world that's so telling and gives us such beauty and character, all while trying to make it mysterious and intriguing. The more you get into the show, the more the world reveals itself. It starts to change, starts to affect the main characters, and new characters will come in, and you don't know if it's friend or foe. You don't know if there's a person or creature out there trying to kill our mains. Either way, the manga just doesn't reveal a lot about the world as the story goes on. And it's paced so nicely, it's paced perfectly. It makes the viewer understand that there's a lot more to come. Our main characters have a goal. They know the world is dangerous. They don't necessarily know what's to come. They're just like the viewer in this situation. This is their first time. This isn't like a Kakashi who's always just there with them to explain how everything's working, how to defend themselves on certain things, or what to look out for. If things go wrong, Kakashi can come in and save the day. You can feel the main character's anxiety as they're traveling the world that they call the Abyss. So it's around towards the end of the season, I start to feel a little different. I start to realize the issue with the series, because even with all these things, people, creatures, damn near everything down there trying to kill you, but because they're kids, I just didn't think any of that mattered. The issue wasn't the fact that the characters were written badly. It wasn't the fact there was a bit of a tonal clash. It was more just my mindset going in, because I'm just so used to seeing characters in anime, especially kids, just not dying in these things. These little shits ain't gonna die. I felt immersed because I felt like the main characters in terms of knowledge was kind of similar to mine. I was learning with them, and I was able to recognize how dangerous it was, and if it was me that was there, I'd probably be dead. But I wasn't scared for the characters. There was no anxiety for these characters. Even though you could feel their anxiety, I always thought that they just weren't gonna die. That was until episode 12 came around.
そうだよ。最初だよ。毒抜けたら。
There was that anxiety. There was that feeling of, oh man, like she may actually die. There's no way they're gonna kill her off. Even when that's first happening, I was still in the mindset of saying, you know, she's gonna be fine. I wasn't worried, but the scene just kept going, and Red slowly falling apart, watching his friend die. It all starts to click. Why I was so dismissive. What made me realize how well the show's written, even though I didn't care for the characters, I was still able to come invested. This is when you realize how badly Rika wants to find her parents, her mother, her dedication, her motivation. It's convincing. At this point, you know how badly she wants it. Of course she lives, but that moment right there, I just wasn't sure she was gonna make it, and that's what I feel like a lot of animes kind of miss for me. I wish more shows kind of had that Game of Thrones kind of vibe where you don't know if your main character is going to die or not. And for what I've heard, season 2 has its moments that may get to me also, which I'll get to at some point. Of course, I didn't love season 1, so I may just take my time getting there. But the mystery of the world and its characters that you meet all made me very intrigued and curious to find out more. So if you haven't watched the show, give it a try. The art, the world, the music, it makes you feel invested enough to make it very compelling. Perhaps season 2 will make me more of a fan. We shall see. But I'm back. Plenty of videos on the way, so stay tuned.